Welcome to Lesson 8A, Introduction to Shock Tube Analysis. This lesson begins a series of discussions on shock tubes. In this lesson, we'll analyze the moving shock and the expansion fan created by an impulsively started piston. I'll also discuss XT and XP diagrams and wave speed. Let's consider an insulated, that is adiabatic, long tube filled with gas. A piston in the tube is impulsively started. The setup looks like this. At t equals 0, the piston's just sitting there. And we'll call the condition here 1. Everything is still, and we have pressure P1, temperature T1, gamma R, etc. for the gas. At t equal T1, some short time later, the piston has impulsively started, and the piston is now moving at speed V2, which we'll also call Vp, the piston speed, having been impulsively started at time t equals 0. While this produces a normal shock, with conditions 1 in front of the shock and 2 behind the shock as usual. We also call this AS, after the shock. The speed of the shock is Vs, and it's moving into still conditions, where V1 is 0. Of course, we have a pressure jump from P1 to P2 across the shock, and shock speed Vs is greater than V2. Note that Vp is the same as V2, the speed of the gas following the shock. Note also that we're in an absolute frame of reference, or what we've also called a moving shock reference frame. In our previous discussions of moving shocks, we know that P2 is greater than P1, Rho 2 is greater than Rho 1, T2 is greater than T1, etc. The piston causes the gas in region 2 to be more dense than the gas originally was in region 1, and also at higher pressure and temperature. And by the way, we typically let x be the downstream distance, starting at the initial location of the piston. And we're neglecting friction along these walls. Now I want to introduce an XT diagram. We'll draw a horizontal x-axis with x equals 0 at the original location of the piston, and on the vertical axis will be time. It's an XT diagram. At t equals 0, the piston is sitting at this location at the origin, but suddenly the piston starts moving. It moves at constant speed, Vp. The shock is formed as soon as the piston starts moving, but it moves faster. On an XT diagram, Vs tilts more to the right because the slope dx dt for the piston is smaller than that of the shock, and speed is dx dt. Everything to the right of this shock is region 1, which I'll shade blue here. Everything to the left of the shock is region 2. The location of the piston at T1 is here on the diagram, corresponding to this location, and the shock has moved to this location. Now consider a fluid particle located initially to the right of the piston. At t equals 0, the particle is here, and as time increases, the path of the particle is straight up. That's because there's no velocity here, so x does not change with time. But as soon as the shock crosses this location, the fluid particle will move like this at speed v2, which is the same as Vp as we've mentioned, and this arrow are parallel. Note that on XT diagrams, straight up means 0 speed, and some slope implies non-zero speed. Similarly, we can construct an XP diagram, where we plot pressure as a function of x. But we do this at some specific time. I'll show you this at time t equal T1, where we know that the piston is located here, and the shock is located here. If we call this P1, we know that P2 is bigger than P1, so P2 will be somewhere up here across the shock. Now let's consider the other side of this piston. I'll copy and paste the diagrams we had above, but now we'll concentrate on what happens behind the piston. Let's call this region 4, with pressure P4, temperature T4, etc. At t equals 0, this gas is also still. In other words, V4 is 0. At t equals 0 plus, the piston impulsively moves at this speed v2, and what happens behind the piston is a series of waves called expansion waves. There are actually an infinite number of them, but they move to the left. These waves are called expansion waves, and this collection of expansion waves is called an expansion fan. There's a leading wave and a trailing wave, and these waves move at slightly different speeds, but to the left of this leading wave, we still have conditions 4 where there's no flow. But now we'll introduce region or condition 3. And since this is an expansion, T3 is less than T4. Unlike a compression wave, these waves, as they move along, never catch up to each other. In fact, I didn't draw it exactly right, but the waves get farther apart as they move downstream. In other words, the waves fan out on our XT diagram. Here's what they look like on the XT diagram. The trailing wave is here when time is T1, and the leading wave is here, so that expansion wave looks like that. And as I said, there are an infinite number of waves here, but I'm just sketching a few of them. This is what the expansion fan looks like on an XT diagram. The thickness of the expansion fan here is the same as that here when t equals T1. I'll label the leading wave and the trailing wave. Now let me ask the students a question. What do you think is the speed of this first leading wave?
I'd say it would be the speed of sound in region 4.
That's right, Harry. This speed is A4. What about the speed of this trailing wave?
Would it be the speed of sound in region 3?
No, not quite, Harry. This trailing wave moves at speed A3 relative to the surrounding gas, but this gas is moving at speed Vp. In other words, V3 must equal Vp. So the speed of the trailing wave relative to its local speed is A3 minus V3, not simply A3. Note that this whole region between the piston and the trailing wave is region 3, and everything from the leading wave to the left is region 4. Let's introduce another fluid particle here. Again, region 4 is stationary, so the fluid particle path just is straight up on this XT diagram. But instead of an abrupt change like we had here across the shock, this fluid particle bends slowly on the XT diagram and merges nicely into speed V3 in region 3. What about the XP diagram? Again, at t equals T1, I go straight down to indicate the leading and trailing waves of this expansion fan at t equals T1. And if we let this be P3, the pressure rises something like this to some higher pressure P4, where I'll label here all the regions of the XP diagram. 1 in front of the shock, 2 behind the shock to the piston, 3 between the piston and the trailing edge of the expansion fan, and 4 to the left of the expansion fan. Note that from the point of view of a fluid particle sitting in region 4, as soon as the expansion fan hits the leading edge, in other words the leading wave of the expansion fan, the pressure drops to some value P3. Now some comments. The expansion waves move at the local speed of sound, which is constantly changing across the expansion fan. The front or leading wave of the expansion fan moves fastest since T4 is greater than T3. Again, since it's an expansion just from thermodynamics, and since A4 is square root of gamma R T4 and A3 is square root of gamma R T3, we know that A4 is larger than A3. And recall that the leading wave moves at A4, but the trailing wave moves at a smaller speed, A3, and we even subtract V3 off of that to make it even smaller yet. And because of the difference in speeds between the leading and trailing waves, this expansion fan is a fan fanning out. Continuing our comments, the rear or trailing wave of the expansion fan moves slowest, and thus, as I showed, the expansion fan spreads out or grows in thickness with time. Also, as sketched, the expansion fan is a gradual change in pressure, unlike a shock, which is a sudden change of pressure. These expansion fans are modeled as isentropic. They are basically sound waves, which are nearly isentropic. There are no discontinuities and no irreversibilities in this idealized model. We also know that V2 must equal V3 in front and behind the piston. In other words, as the piston moves at speed Vp, the gas in front of the piston is also moving at that same speed, Vp, and the gas behind the piston is also moving at the same speed. But P2 is not necessarily equal to P3. Why not? Because the piston is a barrier between regions 2 and 3. Any of these scenarios is possible. P2 can be less than P3, P2 can be greater than P3, and if everything is tuned just right, P2 can equal P3. This all depends on the initial conditions and the speed of the piston. Now I'll introduce wave speed. C is defined as the wave speed, which is the speed of sound minus the local gas speed. So in our expansion fan, on our XT diagram, where we have regions 3 and 4, in region 4, the wave speed is A4 minus V4, which is 0. So C4 is A4 for the leading wave of the expansion fan. But for the trailing wave, the local gas is moving at speed V3. So C3 is A3, its local speed of sound, minus V3. And I also note that to plot these expansion fans, we typically plot the leading edge and the trailing edge, and then just fill in some other lines in between. The equations for these expansion waves are x3 equal negative c3 times time, negative because the waves are moving to the left, and x4 is negative c4 times time, where c3 and c4 are given here and here. And my final comment here is that in these sketches and XT and XP diagrams, Vp is assumed to be subsonic with respect to region 3. In other words, piston speed Vp is less than A3. If Vp were supersonic with respect to region 3, you can see that C3 would be A3 minus V3, which is the same as Vp, and that would be negative, meaning that the trailing wave of the expansion fan would move to the right like this. I'll sketch both of these cases later. Finally, I drew all these on the computer to make it more clear, and I note that gas 1 and gas 4 can be different. They're separated by the piston, so this can be, for example, air, and this can be helium or any other gas. So from now on, we'll deal with gamma 1 and R1 for region 1, and gamma 4 and R4 for region 4. But the XT diagram looks the same as what we've been discussing, and this is the case for the subsonic piston. We see the piston motion, the shock, and the expansion fan. And here's my XP diagram at time t1, where the piston has moved here, the shock here, and the expansion fan here, as you can see in this horizontal line at t1. And I arbitrarily assumed that P3 is less than P2 in this case. And as I said, we can have a discontinuity in pressure here because the piston is a physical barrier between gas 1 and gas 4. Everything to the right of this piston is gas 1 and remains gas 1. Everything to the left is gas 4. In the next lesson, we'll replace this piston with a contact surface, and then we'll have a real shock tube. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. 1, 2, 3.